Hi everybody, John Hand with the Pulsing Cinema and the Pulsing Cinema movie of the day. Oh man, again, another cheat because it's a TV movie, but The Midnight Hour. The Midnight Hour was a film, it was a TV movie that was shown on ABC in November 1985. And I think it must have been shown subsequently throughout the 80s because I saw this damn film in the 80s on ABC 1 October or around that time period of the year, because I'm sure it was one of those films that played around October along with that National Lampoon's Reunion movie that they'd made, which was kind of like a horror film, but it was like a comedy TV movie. I saw it and it was like a dream for many years, you know. I mean, I don't think it was out on video. I think it was eventually released on VHS in the late 80s by Vidmark. You know, it was really it was like, what the hell? This is an obscure film. And it was almost like, you know, I doubt myself. It's like, did I really see that thing on television, you know? But, you know, years later, you know, with the advent of the internet and the searches and everybody else's, you know, it's like, it was many people's lost movie, the unknown movie, the movie that they had seen when they were a kid, you know, and they half remembered. It was like these scenes of this Halloween party and the Shari Belafonte as the witch, vampire woman, and all this stuff. And I was like, you know, did I really see this? You know, it was like weird, you know. Oh man, The Midnight Hour. The Midnight Hour is just so nostalgic. I'm sure it is nostalgic for many people. It was that era of television when the big three, you know, really before they were the big four, before Fox, you know, it was just ABC, CBS, and NBC, and they would have Halloween or holiday specials, and they would have TV movies, and ABC was very, you know, active, and you had stuff like, you know, North and South and Roots and The Day After and The Winds of War and, you know, these big miniseries, right? But you'd also have like little cool like horror movies like that National Lampoon's film and The Midnight Hour and stuff. It was just something for everyone, you know, and it was like you could do these little Halloween treats, you know, and animated films, and you know, the Peanuts movies would show, in the correct holiday slot. The Peanuts movies are about it, you know. That's about it, you know. TV movies is all gone to HBO. It's all gone to streaming. It's all gone to Netflix. It's all gone to whatever, you know. The big three are just gone, you know. They're still there, but you know, it's all what's showing on HBO, you know, or Showtime or AMC, you know. It's in some ways it's probably a lot more creative, and it's a golden era of television. But I miss the atmosphere that could produce something like a Midnight Hour. So what is the Midnight Hour? The Midnight Hour is, of course, like a Halloween type movie. It's about a bunch of teenagers in a small New England town, and this New England town, you know, it was cursed, you know, years. Their great grandparents defeated this witch, this kind of vampire witch played by Shari Belafonte, and the teenagers, you know, played by LeVar Burton and Peter DeLuise and Dee Dee Pfeiffer, they go hunting around in the town museum. And they wake up the witch ghost, and she starts turning everybody into witch ghost. She turns everybody into like zombie vampire people, and then it goes down to the line. There's like this one teenager left, and he meets up with this mysterious young girl who's dressed like a 50s cheerleader. She's like a 50s Bobby Soxer girl, and together they work to defeat the Shari Belafonte vampire witch woman, and because it's like the Day of the Dead, it's like the Night of the Dead, you know, like she's let loose all of the zombies, the living dead from the graves in the town cemetery, and so they've got to put everything back to right. Reminds me in some ways of Vamp, that movie where people are rushing through the night and they've got to they've got to find a solution, they've got to escape, or they've got to make things right. But then it's like the small town horror. It's like the Salem witch trials, that specter of that, using that to tell a story about the ancestry who has cursed the present. It's all that kind of Mario Bava stuff. The witch who returns from nowhere, like Black Sunday and stuff like that, to haunt the grandchildren of the people who committed this crime. Classic horror movie concept, classic horror movie tropes and what have you. But I mean, the movie is just fun. The movie seems to be just as inspired as much by classic B movies as it is by thriller. Because you've got the ghosts and the goblins and stuff like that, and Sherry Belafonte, and as a vampire ghost thing, which whatever, I mean, it kind of plays fast and loose with that, but it's groovy, it's cool, it works, I can dig it, I really love it, It's just a fun movie. I mean, there's not really anything, it's just a fun TV movie. It's like one of the, it's like the TV movies of the 70s and 80s. You had some that were like really fun, like Bad Ronald and Don't Be Afraid of the Dark, and they were just like genuinely scary, creepy, sometimes funny, and just fun stuff to watch still, And they're just as good as any theatrical film. So that's what The Midnight Hour is. Again, difficult to find. It was released on video in the late 80s, right? And then like I think in 2000 released on DVD and VHS by Anchor Bay, and then in a nice cover. And I think it's gone out of print, and that's it. I think there are some, I don't know if there are bootlegs or things, European releases. But yeah, definitely a film that deserves to stay in print, because it's just such a spooky, cool film. Yeah. So The Midnight Hour, yeah, definitely track down that Anchor Bay release. It's fun.